Hello and happy Monday. Happy Monday, happy June. Hopefully the last few months, as different as they have been, you are staying productive, and I don't know what else to say other than productive and hopeful for humanity and everything else that's going on. I haven't gone live in a couple of weeks here because what I was doing previously was not serving me to the point that I wanted to. So I needed to take some time off of coming on live in this type of fashion in order to really introspect myself and find out, what is my message and, make sure that I deliver on that. So anyways, on Fridays, as I've said before, we are going to continue with our shows, talking about business and real estate related activities. And then I'm going to be coming on here pretty much consistently on a daily basis, talking about issues, personal opinions, business, and other things that are going on. So I'm sure you know by now, with everything that is going on, specifically in the United States, that, we're in the moments of distress. And I specifically titled this video, are you acting on your emotions? Because I feel like that's what's come down to. Now, before I get hate for this, let me tell you, everything that is going on with any sort of brutal force being used upon its citizens is wrong, and it should be condemned, and it should not be allowed. Any violence that is taking place against innocent individuals, innocent businesses, innocent things that are in our surroundings that have nothing to do with being at fault for the actions is completely wrong as well. Now, with all that being said, let me just start off this with another point of reference. When Jesus Christ died on the cross for forgiveness of our sins, up until the very last minute, and I don't understand this because as a human being, I don't understand how God acts, how God can be so loving, compassionate, forgiving, whatever you want to call it. But until the very last moment, even to the individuals that were crucifying him, he asked God for compassion, for their forgiveness. He clearly said, "Forgive them, for they know not what they do." And I thought that this would be appropriate, talking about that specific action, about what some people are doing, okay? With the violence, with the hatred that's going on. And ultimately, it's hard to say because, again, my skin color is white. I cannot deny that. My name is Maxim Cruz. Yes, I have a Latino Hispanic name. Yes, I speak almost perfect English. And yes, I've had privileges that I've enjoyed in this country for the color of my skin. To be blind altogether and say that it is much more difficult for people of a different color of skin, okay, specifically blacks, to get ahead in this country is more difficult than whites, is just being blind to the situation. To be blind to the situation, to say that individuals that are foreigners to this country, hence that they might look like they're of foreign descent, okay, Hispanic, Latino, Asians, Europeans, Africans, Australians, whatever, I guess I don't even know if that applies because, again, for example, the Caucasian, European-looking individual, I think all over the world has, unfortunately, the system that for some reason they're not oppressed, if you want to call it. And the truth of the matter is, as much as it frustrates me to even say those words, is that the system from the beginning of, and let's not say from the beginning of time, from the time that sin entered, the division became that, okay? Why? I don't know when, but why is it that slavery happened? Why is it that people of color were slaves and not the other way around? You know, why weren't the people of color the privileged ones, quote unquote, and the people that had no color were the ones that were slaves, okay? I don't know, okay? And if I knew and if I could change that, God, that would be awesome, but I don't know. Now, what's frustrating is, again, to just put on blinders and say that it doesn't exist and say that everything is well and that we have no issues and that, you know, you can get ahead in life no matter where you come from and all that. You know, that's not 100% real. And yes, there's a lot of opportunities here in the United States where maybe they don't exist in other parts of the world. And yes, for, you know, a hard-working individual, they can get ahead here versus other places. But still, we cannot turn the blind eye and say, hey, there is a division. There is a division that is created. It is created from the programming that is given in the schools, that is given in the teachings, that is given, you know, in our households. For example, the way that I grew up, you know, growing up in a Latino and a Hispanic family, you know, what were we supposed to do? We were supposed to go to school, get good grades, become good workers, you know, provide for our families, doing all that stuff, right? And it was almost looked down upon if you had a minimum paying job, and somehow that made you less of an individual just because you were not successful and didn't follow the path that your parents wanted to follow. And that's bullshit, okay? It should not be that way. It should not be in a way that individuals have to follow other people's views just to feel or just to portray themselves successful or whatever you want to call it in other people's eye. That is the true problem, okay? I watched a video this morning by Meet Kevin, a fellow real estate agent from California that I follow. And, you know, I like his YouTube channel, and there's a lot of things I agree and disagree with him. And one of the things that he said, based on some statistics, is it was very interesting how he looked into the perspective of, you know, what happens with crime, what happens with, you know, neighborhoods that more African Americans or Latinos live in, what happens in neighborhoods where more Caucasians live in, and what really happens when people overall are poor, and how poverty, you know, kind of drives everything that has happened, and et cetera, et cetera. And also, you know, one important thing that he said was how the whole thing with slavery and oppression, it got to a point where, you know, people, because they're receiving less or because they're oppressed, it's gotten down to a systematic thing where people of oppression are more likely to be in poverty, and how African Americans are 2 times more likely to live in those neighborhoods or commit crime or whatever the statistics is. But again, it's the programming. How unfortunate is it that, again, for example, you know, when you look at successful individuals, and yes, they've had their own moments of struggles and etc., but somehow they were able to find individuals, they were able to find people, mentors, whatever you want to call it, in their lives that changed their point of views, that changed the way that they think, that changed the way that they look at things, that changed their actions, and they did that stuff. And I don't know where this message is going, right? Because I'm just as mad, just as frustrated as you are. And trust me, I have plenty of friends who are black. I have plenty of friends who are Haitian. I have plenty of friends who are African American born in this country. I have plenty of friends who are actually from Africa, you know? And what sucks about it is that, yes, it is difficult for them. And I'm not going to lie, you know, there are places where you don't want to go to a certain restaurant because people don't like to see those types of people there, and that's wrong. But again, just like Jesus said, where forgive them for they not what they do, when is that created? Why is it that those individuals look at those other people and say, hey, those people don't belong here? Where was that created? It was created in the programming from their children, growing up and being taught by their parents that whatever, you're better than that, or these people. All of that stuff is crap, Human lives matter. All of lives matter. And we should not be here in 2020. All right? We should not be here fighting this racial war where people of all color, where people of all cultures are standing up and are going to the streets and rioting violently just to get attention that they deserve. And I think it's a disgrace for individuals like Martin Luther King Jr., Mahatma Gandhi, individuals that rioted, Nelson Mandela, individuals that had huge changes in their countries, that did it in a non-violent way, for individuals today, just because they want to follow a certain trend or be on social media or show how cool it is to go around and film things and put it up on Facebook and show, what everyone is rioting to, and do violent acts. That is wrong, okay? In these times where we've just went through 5 months of this coronavirus and we're still going through it, and businesses are trying to get back up on their feet, to go and loot these businesses. A lot of them are small businesses. And I'm not saying that it's right to go loot big businesses at all, but trust me, a small business shop that sells, sandwiches or whatever, or jewelry or whatever, is not going to recover in the same way that a national brand store is going to recover, just because those mom and pop shop businesses, as you want to call them, they live from day to day. They open their doors day to day, and they're struggling to think about how is it that they're going to survive. And for somebody to start these violent acts, to burn these businesses, heck, let's stand in the middle of the street and let's make a fire in the middle of the road, And then I hope when the situation is resolved, those same individuals that were making those fires in the middle of the road will get together and work with the local Department of Transportation in covering up these holes. Because if that's the way that we're going to get attention, then let's get our work together and let's go back and rebuild these businesses, rebuild these structures that have been defaced and have been painted and done all this stuff. Let's not do this damage and then just leave it for somebody else to clean up. Because if that's what you are about, if that's what you're doing, then you're just adding to the whole entire problem. And that's not the way to solve things. And again, I can only imagine what God is doing up there in the heavens, looking at all of this. And trust me, he's feeling it as well. And I can only imagine if Martin Luther King Jr., if, individuals for peace and change were here today and they were looking at this and they were seeing where we've gotten to as a society, how, I guess, unsuccessful they would feel about what they were fighting for and what they thought had happened when they started standing up and things actually started to change, with legal statutes and legal principles starting to change in this country. So, look, again, I'm not a black man, all right? So I cannot say and I cannot feel that what these individuals are going through, because I'm not there. And if you're not a black man, for you to say that, hey, I know what it is that you're going through, that's bullshit. Because unless you've actually been in a situation where you feel afraid for your life because of the color of your skin, you cannot say that you feel what those individuals feel. Now, you can be compassionate. You can be empathetic. You can try to put yourself in this individual's shoes. You can try to understand. You can try to put yourself in that situation. But that does not mean that just because you imagine yourself in that situation, that you can actually feel those feelings. And maybe you can. And again, I'm not that good with emotions. I'm not that good with empathy. I'm not that good with actually, feeling that feeling that somebody else would feel in their shoes. But I'm trying to understand, and I know that it's wrong. When we take everything away, okay, if you take away your programming, if you take away what you were taught by your parents, if you take away the location that you live in, if you take away the society that you live in, whatever the thing, and you just look and open your eyes and you ask yourself, is it right for an individual, I don't care if it's an individual that is a police officer or not, to get on top of another individual and put their knee on their neck, and for that other individual to be crying out for their life, saying that they cannot breathe, and for that to continue for several minutes with other bystanders that don't take action, that willfully do not take action, and other bystanders who cannot take action because they would be interfering with the law. That is wrong, okay? That is wrong, and that is what all of us are mad about. That has to change, okay? The whole thing about the racial profiling and looking at individuals and thinking, hey, this individual, because of the way that they dress, because of the way that they look, because of the piercings that they have, because of the tattoos that they have, because I don't agree of the language that they speak in, that is just wrong. Hate crime is wrong altogether. And again, I cannot feel what it is that those African American individuals in that moment feel, but I can try to at least put myself in those people's shoes. And it's frustrating that we're here today and we should not be here. But what I will tell you is that humanity is strong. And when we take away the locations, when we take away where you are located in the world, when you take away what it is that is happening in your environment, all of us want the same thing, right? All of us want to live in a place where we feel safe, okay? Where we're not abused by a power of a third authority or something else. Where whatever it is that we're working for does not get taken away from us by our neighbors that are trying to steal, that maybe don't live that same story of life. We want peace. We want to enjoy the way that we know to enjoy without disrespecting other individuals. And that's hard to do because all of us have it. And those beliefs have separated us, And it's hard to say that you respect someone's belief even though that it's different. It is hard to do that because every time that I look at something and I think that it's wrong, it's not wrong. It's different than what I know. And yes, certain things are wrong. Killing someone is wrong. Stealing from someone is wrong. Wanting something that somebody has and wanting to take away from them is wrong. Doing all of that stuff is wrong. But just because they speak another language, just because they believe in another God, just because they don't believe in God, just because they work in a different environment, just because of the color of their skin, that is not wrong. It's different. So let's start respecting our differences. Okay? Let's start valuing human life. And let's just find a way to peacefully put this. If we need to grab attention, let's grab attention. But let's grab attention peacefully. Let's not grab attention by violating other individuals' rights, other individuals' things that they've worked for. So that's going to be the end of my message. It's different. It's different than my typical message, but we all need to have an opinion on this, okay? And if you're in the opinion that is different than mine, I may not agree with it, but I respect you as an individual. If your opinion is the same as mine, great. If you have no opinion, again, I may not agree that you don't have an opinion, but I respect that. But what I will say that I think all of us can do is take 1 minute, okay? 1 minute in the early morning or in the late evening. Turn off everything. Turn off your phone. Turn off your TV. Turn off the person around you and go into a closet. Go into your bathroom. Go into your bedroom. Turn off the lights, okay? And ask yourself, why is it that I think the way that I think? Where is this thought coming from? Whether it's, again, different from mine, the same as mine, or no thought. Why? Why is it that I think this way? Okay? Why is it that I think this way? Is it because society around me has told me that? Is it because my parents brought up me that way? Is it because of the places that I went to school with, the experiences that I've seen? Why is it? And am I open to respecting other people's differences? Am I willing to stand up for life? Okay? To stand up the right for somebody to live their life. And again, if somebody is doing something, if somebody is breaking the law, if somebody is disturbing somebody else's peace, if somebody is violating someone's rights, if somebody is, doing all of the things that we know deep down inside is not right, that they should not be doing, the justice system has to work, okay? It should not come down to having somebody against their will being dragged, being stepped on their neck, being kneeled on their neck, to then have to die. And especially die if they're not committing any crime. If they are committing a crime, let's apprehend those individuals peacefully. Let's apprehend those individuals in a manner where they feel that they were handled by professionals. Let's apprehend those individuals without killing them. And again, I'm not a police officer. I have a cousin who just graduated from the Massachusetts State Police Academy. I believe deep down he's a good individual. I believe deep down he's there to protect his community. I believe deep down that he's there to serve his community. I have a lot of police officers that are acquaintances, that I've had coffee with them, that are there to, protect other individuals and, take care of other individuals. So again, don't generalize and say, hey, everyone does the same thing, because that's not true, okay? There's bad apples everywhere, okay? And I'm not the best example of society by all means. I have my own faults. I have my own skeletons in my closet. I have my own things, my own problems, my own things that I have not done right, okay? But I'm trying to get those things corrected. And I will get those things corrected. But again, that doesn't mean that I should be afraid of for my life when I go out on the street. Nobody should face that. And just because somebody is different than you are doesn't mean that they're less than you are. And you should have the utmost respect for that other individual. I think Dale Carnegie said it best in his book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. We have to hold other individuals with utmost respect as if they are superior to us. It does not matter that their culture is different. It does not matter that they speak a different language. It does not matter the color of their skin. It does not matter the religion that they have. Okay? I should respect those individuals and hold them superior to myself. And when I show respect to other individual, then they should show that same respect back to me. And when it's mutual, we can coexist. And I know that's hard and I know that's different, but that's my opinion. So go out, take a minute today, reflect on why it is that you believe what you believe in, and let's riot peacefully, and let's hopefully end the destruction and the hate around the world whenever it comes. So with that, have an awesome day, and I'll see you on the next video.